So let's begin, my friends. We're going to start with a plank today because it is a core kind of a Friday. I'm going to use that red band to help assist me find my middle back, and I'm going to place it wide, just under the shoulder blades like this. So it's below the tips of the shoulder blades. Keep it as wide as you can, and then I'm choking up on it with the band, one in each hand. Come onto your knees on the mat. Hands are going to go shoulder width distance flat on the mat. And then with intention, let's do this together, guys. Really think about the navel drawing up and in, the collarbones drawing wide. And we're going to reach the right leg long. The shin is still grazing across the floor. It's going to extend fully. Once I have no more reach, then I'll flip the toes under. Let's continue to think about the navel reaching up and in between the shoulder blades. Left shin slides back. Oh, it just got a lot harder. And we're going to extend all the way back into our best plank. Hold and breathe here. Make sure that we are thinking about lifting off of the elbows. You might want to think about a little micro bend or a little breath in the elbows. You can think about, keep working, I'm going to show you from this perspective. You can think about your upper arms, almost like your upper inner thighs, spiraling forward a little bit. That's going to help you find that connection into the middle back. You also want to think about your breath, broadening the band sideways. So you want to think about your breath going outbound into the band with every inhale. Think about stretching the fibers of the band, or if you don't have one, imagine you did. Imagine the back side of your ribs is stretching the elasticity of that band. Let's go a little further down the chain. Think about the inner thighs spiraling towards the ground. And think about the tailbone reaching long from the crown of the head as we soften with breath at the knees for 6, for 5, for 4, this is 3, 2, and slowly bring the right knee down and then the left knee down. All right, let's continue working with that band. If you have it, cross it once underneath your chest. So it's going to be at the base of the ribs, and we're now going to find that connection to our arms as we're working. We're going to go into a little lower and like a hip tap and a rotation. So here we go. Plug the arms into the middle back. We're going to exhale as we lower down. Inhale, come up and rotate. So this is similar to when we do an upper body jump on the floor of the mat, but it's kind of combining that. I'm going to change the angle so you can see. It's kind of combining that with like an upright chest expansion experience. So we're having a little combo here, but I want you to think about that band as you inhale and rotate. We're broadening it again. Exhale, the band narrows around the ribs. Inhale as you rotate. Exhale as it narrows. Finding the breath. That's really going to help us find the core activation today. So I'd invite you to spend a little more focus on the breath. Inhale for length. Exhale, narrow around the ribs. Inhale for length. As I'm rotating, keep working, I'm thinking about the hip reaching forward as the ribs turn to the side. That's going to keep your pelvis quiet. So keep working, guys, doing the same thing. But as we rotate our body towards the left hip is going to be invited forward just a little bit. Let's go for 3 more here. Even your body out, whether you have the band or not. Here we go. We're inhaling. Exhale through center. Inhale to come up. Lower at the bottom. Hold and breathe. We're going to raise off of our heels 1 inch. Hold and breathe. Think about that band narrowing around your ribs every time you exhale. Come up 1 more inch. Oh, I feel it too. I feel it too. Keep the torso upright. Find that breath. Come up 1 more inch. I know the quads are on fire. Use your breath. Find the core connection here. Come up 1 more inch. We're still in a little bit of a crease. Last 3, last 2. And inhale, gather, and rise all the way up. Keep your band wrapped around your body if you have it. Don't worry about it if not. And we're going to transition onto our back. So it's still crossed in front of the body. And we're going to lay all the way down onto our backs on the mat. Hold the arms long. Plug them into the middle back. From here, we're going to float the right leg up into a tabletop. Allow that femur to sink deeply into the pelvis and float the left leg up into a tabletop. So you might notice, guys, that I often kind of wiggle my hips. I'm looking for length in the spine. Once I've laid down, I'm actually kind of walking my pelvis away from the shoulders, and it creates more length in the low back, and that helps to connect to the deep abdominals and give the low back breathing room. Here we go. Inhale, broaden the band as you float the head up and off Check in that you didn't add a bunch of wrinkles to the front side of your body or your t-shirt, and check in that the tailbone is still heavy in the floor. It is not going to do you any good to mash the back like that. It's going to shorten and work the surface muscles rather than supporting the spine all the way around. All right, head is up and off the floor if that's accessible to you. And now we are going to go into a long reach like a jump board. Inhale as you lengthen. Exhale, flex the feet as you land like we're landing on the board. Inhale, we're in flight. Exhale as you land. Keep working. If you have a sensitive low back, what you can do is not extend your legs all the way out and you'll still get a really nice core connection. I'd actually like everyone to try that. When I just demonstrated that in my own body, try not to go all the way out. You're gonna feel a really deep abdominal connection from the inner thighs to the psoas, running alongside the spine. So try a few with not a full range of movement. Find that abdominal connection, and then if it feels good for your body, then go into that extension. Keep working. Inhale as you extend, exhale as you bend. So the idea is that little shortened lever that of the leg not going out all the way really connects us to the deep abdominals. It gets the muscle memory in the brain. Keep working, I know you're going, it's okay, you can do it. As the legs go all the way out on the next one, the body already knows, the abs are holding the legs up, not the low back. Let's go for 2 more. Inhale as you reach, find length through the crown of the head as well. Exhale, bring it in. Inhale as the legs reach. Exhale, bring it in. With control, set the head all the way down onto the mat. With control, lower the feet to the mat. And with control, release the arms on the band. Go ahead and set the band to the side. We're not going to use it for this next little set. So release the band to the side. Okay. Let's go onto our right hand. I'm going to provide an option on your forearm if this feels aggressive. So we're going to bring our right foot in front of our left and our right hand is on the mat. We're going to think about the pelvis lengthening away from the shoulders as we rise all the way up. Hold and breathe. From here, we're just going to do a little side arc. So it's like a little helium balloon is under the bottom waistline, your right ribs. And we're going to inhale up and over. Exhale as we return to start. So it's not about jamming the hips up towards the sky. It is about arcing and lengthening the spine as we work. Keep going. If that feels aggressive to you or your shoulder, you can also bring your right forearm down to the floor and work from here, getting the same focus through the waistline. So everyone choose whichever version works best for your body and find that length. So as we're lifting and lengthening, we want to make sure we're not just going for height, it's more about reach. So think about the spine reaching long as we lift. Let's do 2 more here. Thinking about the right shoulder blade melting down around the rib basket. Inhale as we arc. Exhale, bring it back. 1 more, guys. Hold that arc for 5. Stack the hips, make sure the top hip didn't roll back for 3, for 2, and with control, bring your body all the way down. Okay, we're gonna go into some upper body jumps now with our elbows all the way down onto the floor. So let's go into a closed parallel position with the legs, no light between the knees. And we're gonna get our forearms down to the floor and our hips to our heels. If that doesn't work for your knees, just keep your booty raised a little bit. You can always double over your mat. Here we go. Exhale to prepare. Inhale as we rise up, arms actively reach to our sides. You should feel your triceps activate. Exhale, sitting bones broaden as we crease and lower to the floor. Inhale as we raise. The core is lifting us, not the arms. So we're not shoving from the floor like this. We're lightly lifting and activating triceps as the arms go back. 2 more like that. We're gonna change it up. So think about ribs lifting off of pelvis rather than quads shoving you to the sky. Here we go, change it up. Arm circles if you're up for it. Exhale as we lower. Inhale, arms circle around, plugging into the middle back. Exhale, lower down. Continuing to visualize the sitting bones narrowing on the way up and broadening on the way down. Keep working. So that is literally at the base of your pelvis. As you lower down, the sitting bones fan outbound, and as you lift, that's the base of the core sending you up. The quads want to take over. They're invited. They're not the only ones working. Let's go for 2 more here, guys. Here we go. We're inhaling. Plug the arms down into the middle back. Exhale as we land. Last one. Inhale as we come up and around. and exhale, bring it down. Okay, let's go ahead and get that side bridge done on the other side. So again, guys, you can have your left hand, or now you know, left forearm to the floor. We're gonna bring our left foot in front of our right, melt the left shoulder blade down around the rib basket, stack the hips, here we go. Inhale as you arc and lift. Exhale, bring it back. It's not a great big range of movement. Think about fanning the top ribs as you lift the bottom ribs. Think about the left inner thigh spiraling forward as the right inner thigh spirals back. What? I thought it was a core class. It's gonna get you more ab activation if you can find the bone rhythms in the legs. So I'm gonna say it again. While we're not moving the legs in space, the left inner thigh, think about it swiveling forward as the right inner thigh spirals back. Holy moly, did you feel that little kind of side sash go? That's your diagonal sling, guys. Those are your bone rhythms. Let's go for 2 more here. Inhaling as we arc and lift for length. The pelvis reaches away from the shoulders. We're gonna do a little standing set next. This is our last one here. Holding for 5. Find lots of length, left inner thigh spirals forward for 2. And with control, bring it all the way down onto your mat. All right, so go ahead and grab your band or a scarf that you have handy. And we're gonna go into what I like to mimic as a front step press on a Wunda chair, okay? We're gonna bring our feet into a 4 inches apart parallel position, okay? And we're going to have all 10 toes shining straight forward. Without a great big lean, let's go ahead and I'm gonna show you from the front. We're gonna put the ball of the right foot, maybe all the way back onto the arch a little bit, onto the band. So now I'm standing pretty centered. I'm not hanging in this hip. Think about this inner thigh coming up and out the crown of the head to keep you as centered as possible. I'm gonna choke up on that band pretty sincerely and give myself nice resistance, holding a bicep curl. So now my arms are at a 90-degree bend. Keep holding, thinking about the entire sole of the left foot melting into the floor. It's a little bit wiggly, that's okay. Level out the belt line. Make sure that's nice and level. Sternum is over your pubic bone, so we're upright. Here we go. We're gonna inhale, asking the left waistline to talk to the right inner thigh to send the band down. And then we're gonna exhale as we absorb it back to start. Notice my arms didn't move. So the arms are providing some stability and some resistance in both directions. So keep working, guys. I'm gonna repeat the bit about the left waistline. Keep working. Every time the leg goes down, the left waistline crosses the pelvic floor and asks the right inner thigh to send the leg along. And then alternatively, it's coming up alongside the right side of the waistline. Inner thighs are drawing back this way. You can also send your attention to the glam line. Keep working. We can send our attention to the glam line underneath the right hip. We can activate here as we crease at the hip for full extension at the bottom. The foot is flexed. That's how we'll get full extension. Exhale as we bring it up. At any point, if you need some balance support, step closer to a wall or a counter, and you can do the same movement and just kind of have one hand touching against a wall, okay? Let's go for 2 more here. We're gonna change it up because we can. Let's hold the next one with the knee bent about halfway. So you have a little bit of an extension. You feel a lot of effort through all sides of the leg, but the foot is not all the way down. The knee is bent a little bit. Let's bend the standing leg a little bit and bow forward just a tiny, because that band is gonna get in the way if we bow too much, okay? Holding here, guys. Now we are going to use the inner thigh and the left waistline to send the band down an inch and bring it back up. Really focus on the left waistline, crossing the low belly, talking to the right inner thigh to send it down. I bet you can feel that. I certainly can. Go ahead and now ask your glam line to get it back into the party. You might want to try to lift your heel up a little bit. It can be tricky when we're in that band, but if you have the band under the ball of the foot, you can raise your right heel a little bit, and that's going to help you access through that glam line. Let's go for 3 more. Little tiny move. Let's go for 2. We're bowing forward. Navel is up and in between the shoulder blades. This is our last one. And go ahead, inhale, gather, and rise all the way up. All right, guys, we're gonna go into some more waistline focus with a squat. So if you have the band, great. If not, just do it with empty hands. Let's come into a closed parallel position, so no light between my big toes and my knees. And we're gonna have a good stretch of band in between your hands, palms face down. On the exhale, don't worry about the band yet. We're gonna crease at the hips and lower into a nice squat. You should feel the core active here, navel drawing up and in between the shoulder blades, heart melting down towards the low back. So almost like an X narrowing in your spine. Just hold and breathe and see if you can find that connection, like an X narrowing in your spine. So the heart is going down bound like this, and then we're thinking about the navel going up bound like this. Those are the legs of the X I'm talking about. Okay guys, here we go. Everyone please exhale to prepare. Inhale, we're gonna rise all the way back up to standing. Now we're gonna add the rotation with the band. Exhale, stretch on that band as the ribs rotate towards the right. Right hand is down, left hand is up. Inhale, come up through center, band is at chest height. Exhale, sit into that squat. Left hand reaches down as you rotate ribs to the left. Inhale as we rise up. Exhale, really think about narrowing the waistline with that breath every time you lower down and adding length and lightness as we rise. Exhale as we lower. Inhale as we bring it up. We're gonna change the breath after these next two. So we're gonna exhale, lower down. Inhale, use your breath and lightness to pick you up. Exhale as you lower. Inhale, pick it up, hold. Exhale for one brief moment. Now we're gonna inhale and find length and resistance on the way down. Exhale, use your breath for power to lift you. Inhale, adding resistance and length on the way down. Exhale, really breathing to get yourself upright. Inhale as we lower, keep working. So we've now flipped the breath on its head, right? So as we inhale, we're adding space between the vertebrae to really give the discs some room as we're rotating on them. And then as we exhale, we're powering without losing that length. So don't just collapse on the exhale. Maintain that beautiful length you've gotten. Everyone meet me at the top. We're holding here. You choose your breath pattern for the last four, whichever one you prefer. So we're gonna go into the rotation. You're choosing an exhale or an inhale. Opposite through center. This is what it would look like with no band. We're just moving the arm back, mimicking the motion. You choose your breath. Last two. Magnetize those outer thighs. Rising on up. This is our last one. Bring it up and keep a hold of that band if you have one. We're gonna go into our side flexion. It's so good for the spine, the core, and to tone the legs and booty. So step wide into a turned out position, and we're gonna lower into a plie. Now, since we are not at the end of class for a stretch sequence, I'm gonna invite you for a balance challenge. So let's use the right inner thigh. If you have your band, keep it. I'm just demonstrating without for this one. Use your right inner thigh to pick your right heel up off the floor. Level out the belt line. You probably need to drop that right hip a tiny touch. If you have the band, it's gonna be in your hands like so. What we're gonna do is bring the band overhead and plug the arms down into the middle back. Keeping your belt line level, we're gonna inhale, arc to the side. Exhale, use the base of the ribs to return us upright. Inhale as we arc to the side. Exhale as we bring it up. If this balance challenge isn't for you, simply put your foot down and do the same thing. I'm going to show from a profile to show you that as we're doing that side bend, we want to make sure we're not shortening the low back going behind our body, and we want to make sure we're not rotating. So just keep yourself as if your torso were between two panes of glass. And you can think about that move we did earlier, our little side plank position, and how we were finding length as we fanned open ribs and length on the bottom side. So we're not going to squish or shorten at any point, okay? Let's go for one more here. Hold, keeping that heel up. Exhale, roll through the center. Inhale, bring it up one more time, going into that roll. Keep that heel up. You should feel that booty on fire right now. And we're gonna roll through. We exhale through the center. Inhale, bring it up. Hold overhead. I'm gonna grab my band. You keep holding. So we're holding overhead. I'm gonna demonstrate with the band now. Keep your right heel raised. You guys know better. You know this was coming. Left heel is gonna pick up also. All 10 toes are melting into the floor. The arms live in your middle back. Invite them down into your middle back, okay? Usually they should feel kind of heavily seated just below the shoulder blades. All right, from here, guys, Can you challenge your body further? Swivel your inner thighs forward to lower and broaden the sitting bones a bit more. It should feel like a pretty intense stretch through the inner thighs. It should feel like a lot of work for the core to hold you upright here. Keep working, we're just holding. Isometric challenge, don't hang on that band. Remember, we've talked about the psoas going up like it's one side of a highway, overhead, and then the tailbone melts down. That's gonna protect the low back. So the psoas, the deep abdominals, are drawing up and overhead, and the tailbone is heavily hanging down. Let's go for 4 more seconds. You got this, get a little bit lower. Last 2. Hold here, same time. Both heels imprint through the floor. Your height does not change. Inner thighs, pick the heels up and imprint the heels through the floor. And go ahead and pick the inner thighs up, and then we're gonna imprint them through the floor. Let's go for 2 more here. We're gonna hold the left side up, so don't let that left foot go anywhere, all right, guys? Hold both heels up, hold. Level the belt line with intention. Just the right heel is gonna melt through the floor. The entire sole of the right foot is now invited to the floor. Left heel is up. Here we go, side bend. Inhale as we arc towards the left. Exhale, really think about the base of the ribs returning you upright. We're inhaling, opening space through the side body as we work. Exhale, bring it in. I think I'm carrying the wrong side. Sorry, go the other direction. We already bent that way. I'm like, wait, that feels already worked. So you're opening your left ribs this time rather than the right, and bring it back up. It's live, my friends. You saw my dog and my kids last week. This week I've got my sides mixed up. It's quarantine brain. What are you gonna do? Inhale as you arc. Exhale as you bring it back. Think about that left hip not piking up with you. So we don't want that left hip to climb up. We want to keep the belt line level. Let's go for 2 more here, then we're going to add that rotation. Inhale as we arc. Exhale, base of the ribs returns you upright. We're going to add the forward flexion now. So we're going to inhale, arc. As we sweep through center, we're exhaling, keeping the heel lifted if that's accessible to you. Inhale as we bring it up and arc to the side. Exhale as we bring it forward. Inhale, come up. We're going to keep the left heel up. It's coming again. Right heel picks up if that's accessible to you. Hands come just under the underarms. They're right at chest height. From here, guys, we are going to do a butterfly. It has nothing to do with the knees. It has everything to do with the inner thighs spiraling up. So keep working. I love the idea or the visual of this red band being on my thigh like this, and it spirals up. That's what causes the butterfly. So see if you can find that sensation of the red band drawing your inner thigh towards the sky, and oh, by happenstance, your knees will float open a tiny bit. It's not about the knees swinging around, okay? Let's go for 3. You should really feel that through the back line of the leg as well for 2. Hold here. Heels melt down through the floor with intention. Inhale, gather, and rise all the way back to standing. Okay, let's get that front step press done on the other side with the band. We're going to take the arch and the ball of the left foot into the band. We're 4 inches apart, parallel for our setup, okay? Glue your eyes to something ahead to assist you with balance. This time we're gonna hold it in more of a row. Last time we held it like this. This time we're gonna hold it more of a row, really activating through the middle back and the shoulders. Choke up as much as you need to feel stable. Make sure we're not leaning into that right hip, the standing hip. And here we go. Right waistline talks to the left inner thigh to send the leg long, and then absorb and bring it back up and in. Keep working, I'm gonna show you from the front. Inhaling as we send the leg long towards the floor. Exhaling as we bring it back to start. So again, it's that diagonal thing. It's your right waistline crossing the low belly, talking to the left inner thigh. It's not unusual for it to feel different from side to side. So if you're feeling that like, I don't really feel that diagonal on this side and I did on the other leg, just imagine it in your mind's eye. You're helping your body to pattern proper bone rhythms and core connection. Inhale as we lengthen, crown of the head reaches to the sky as the leg extends through the floor in your mind's eye. Inhale long, Exhale, bring it in. I'm noticing that my left hip really wants to climb up here, so keep that belt line level. That's how we're gonna find that diagonal sling as well. Keep working, guys. I wanna show you just a visual of what I mean. It's literally wrapping like this. It's not an actual muscle, but it's the fibers of the muscles and this fascia that are really integrating together in a diagonal fashion, okay? Let's hold that next one with a bit of a bend, right? So we're somewhere around halfway. We've still got our collarbones wide and our shoulder blades melting down. If you can, lift that left heel just a little bit, the one in the band, and then we're gonna send it down a tiny and bring it back in. So I'm visualizing that movement initiating from the right waistline and from the bone, that left femur bone that is swimming through the dome of the pelvis, okay? The pelvis is steady and the leg is moving. Let's go for 4 more here. Think about that glam line, really active. So the back side of the leg is really working hard too. This is gonna be our last one. And with intention, go ahead and bring the foot out of the band. All right, let's go into some teasers because you know I love to hate them. We are going to come onto our seat with our knees bent a lot. So today I'm going to use this band to give me support to find the abdominals holding the leg in a teaser position, okay? If you have no band, no problem. You can use your hands behind your thighs for that same support. Here we go. We're gonna sit nice and tall in the sitting bones and lean just an inch or two. So you wanna find a long diagonal line, and I want you to focus today on keeping space through the low belly. We don't wanna collapse and hunker down into our pelvis at any point. I'm now gonna ask everyone holding that lean to magnetize the outer thighs and think about just your tailbone sliding under you. So did you notice nothing else in my spine changed? Come back to where you started. It's a tiny movement. Think about a fishing line being on your tailbone, and you'll feel your deep low belly really activate. That's gonna flatten things out, tone them up, and support the low back, okay? All right, once we have that tiny, tiny curl in the low belly, we're gonna find a little bit more resistance on that band, keep that shallow curl, and then we're going to invite the legs up into a teaser position. If you're feeling a grip on the front side of your hips, I'm gonna invite you to draw the thighs closer to your chest if that's accessible to you today. You can even try opening the feet a little bit. You wanna have them about 4 inches apart parallel so the femurs can sink right into the pelvis. Still think about lengthening the front side of your abdominals even in a curl. So find good length here, guys. We're going to open the arms outbound, hold, and then we're going to go into a mini rotation. Inhale as we rotate. Exhale, back through center. Now we're going to the left. Inhale as you rotate. Exhale through center. Use that band to help support the weight of the legs into the pelvis so the abdominals are working really hard to hold you here. We're going for 3 more. This is 2. This is 1. Holding here. We're going to invite the body to extend the legs if that's accessible to you today for 6. 5, if that's not for you, bend the knees again. Last 3. This is 2. With control, bring your feet down to the mat. If you have your band, we're gonna keep it. We're gonna finish with a little set of downhill ski jumps on our back. Really getting into that low belly and the waistline focus today, guys. Hands go wide. I'm gonna float my elbows off the mat to find a little more activation through the arms. Knees are bent, feet are in closed parallel. We'll lengthen the head, neck, and shoulders up off of the mat. Find lots of heaviness in the tailbone, and we're gonna keep the pelvis steady as we swivel the legs to the side. This is an inhale. Exhale, bring it back in. Inhale as we swivel. Exhale, bring it back in. Keep working on your end. I'm going to show you what's happening with the legs. If you're not familiar with this movement, so as the legs extend, we're tipping towards the right, but the pelvis doesn't roll with it. Keep the pelvis quiet. Center it out on an exhale. Inhale, we're swiveling towards the other side. Exhale through center. As you're working and the legs are reaching in and out, the hips are gonna wanna go with it. But I promise you, you'll get better control, better results to not only tone and flatten the stomach, but also to protect the spine and work on functionality of the hips if you keep the pelvis down. Even if your feet rotate less, that's okay. You're still working on your end, right? So it's not about how far the toes tip. It is about maintaining a stable pelvis as we rotate in and out. For the last 4, I'm gonna invite you to lessen your rotation a little bit and really anchor the opposite hip, okay? So you should have about 3 more left. As you extend, exhale, bring it in. Even a tiny bit of a smaller rotation, you're gonna feel more through that core. Exhale, bring it in. This is the last one. Inhale, extend, tiny rotation. Exhale, bring it in. Extra bonus round. Hold the legs out straight. They don't have to be all the way long. Find the spot that activates your deep abdominals the most. Baby bend, long legs, middle range. Do what works for you. You have 4, 3, 2, with control. Bring your feet down, stay on your back. Really beautiful job, you guys. I could see it. I could see it all happening. All right, we are going to take just our right foot into the strap. Let's go ahead and stretch through the abdominals, through the hips here. We're gonna take the right leg outbound at an angle. So I'm in external rotation, left hip is anchored. If you don't have a band, you can just do this with your hand like so. Nice deep breath here. Go ahead and release. Both legs can go long, or if you have a sensitive low back, you can always keep the opposite leg bent rather than extended. And we're gonna bring the left leg up. So this would be a modifier if you have a sensitive low back, or you can go into a full extension and stretch the front side of the hip also. Let's go ahead and rise up, and we're gonna do a little side bend, and we shall be finished. We're gonna sit in a little half lotus position. My right hip is on the ground. And I'm gonna bring my right forearm down. I'm gonna stretch through the side body. Just take a nice deep breath here. I'm gonna rotate and bring both hands now onto the floor. I'm not on my forearms anymore. And then I'm gonna open the spine, open the upper back into extension. Take a nice deep breath here. Go ahead and switch directly to the other side. We're gonna have our left hip down, our right leg folds behind it. We're gonna start with the left elbow down and just a nice arc here. And go ahead and unwind. Both palms are flat on the mat. We're in a rotated position through the spine. We're opening the upper back. And let's come through center and finish with a quick child's pose. Big toes are gonna touch, knees are nice and wide. And we're gonna float the arms along in front of us. Just surrender to where your body is today. Sending breath wherever you feel you need it. Sending release to any areas of tension. Accept a big, beautiful inhale of breath and acceptance for where we are in our bodies and in the world. Exhale to release any lingering emotional or physical tension you're holding on to right now. One more inhale as we slowly rise on up. And you guys are superstars.